technical difficulty. Every time I seem to be negative against the PS4, it seems to be cutting me off on purpose. So I'm gonna try to make this quick. Well, the first mistake that Sony ever did with the PS4 was not make it at least Blu-ray backwards compatible with the PS3 games. That was their first mistake. Secondly, let's see. Their second mistake was not utilizing this to turn on your PS4. You could turn it off with your PS4, but you can't turn it on directly with the PS4. Every time I actually turn it on with my HDMI 1, I don't want that feature to do that. Every time I click on HDMI port 1 on my TV thing, on my TV, it turns on my PS4. And that was the stupidest thing that Sony's feature has done for the PS4. I would rather turn it on directly from this thing if I wanted to press the PlayStation button from your Vita. That would have been more sufficient to make it more convenient for the actual game player. Not using this to turn on your PS4. I don't like that feature because once it's on HDMI 1 for my TV, when I press this, my PS4 turns on all the time. I don't know why Sony thought of actually doing that, but if I was the actual one of the guys that was programming that function, I would actually have a dual purpose for it. Either you could turn it on or turn it off. But I'm not working at Sony, so what do I know? And plus, I don't have a engineering degree or a college degree, so what do I know? I'm supposedly not that smart in telling people that. So, in my defense, utilizing this PSN button and turning on my TV for my PlayStation function is not useful. I don't think you should be able to do that. I think they should have another function where you could actually turn that function off. Just add another menu to your PS4. And honestly, the PS3's gaming library is huge. I don't even understand why the PS3 gets no attention when it's the same format on disc format, which is also Blu-ray, but it's not backwards compatible. I will state that again. Like, it's like, what's the word I always use? It's like getting rid of the best parts of your girlfriend and you're left with a paperweight. That's what I like to use in that term. But, and another thing, why does Sony always use the tagline "Greatness awaits"? Greatness awaits is like saying we're trying to make up for what is wrong with our company, and we're trying to fix it. But nothing needed to be fixed in the first place when you're talking about Sony, because they already had all the functions in place when it was back in the day when it originally launched with the PS3. They already had backward compatibility. They had all that. Now Sony is trying to justify coming out with PS2 games. Just remake them on disc on PS4. Don't have me waste my firmware, my hard drive space for downloading a game on the PSN network. I don't understand. And you guys, Sony, don't even utilize all your games on the PlayStation Store. I mean, you got. If I was gonna do it like that, I would actually came out with all the games that came out for PS2. Every single one of them. Even the ones in Japan. That's what I would have done. But I already have all the games that I want on the PS2. I have Devil Survivor, I have Onimusha 1, 2, 3, and the crappy one, Dawn of Dreams from Capcom. And honestly, when I'm looking at Star Ocean till the end of time being released on the PSN network, I'm kind of saying to myself, do I really want to download this game again? Do I really want to play it again? Honestly, I do, but I don't like downloading games onto my PS4. I do that as a last resort if I want to download something. Not much, man. Well, and also for me, personally, I would say, when is Sony gonna stop using the tagline? Also, again, I'll state this again. Greatness awaits. That tagline to me, it's overdone. I would have actually used the tagline like, the future is now, or something like that. But somebody probably already used it. That's why it's copyright infringement and stuff like that. But we're talking about Sony. They were the innovators back in the day when they were betrayed by Nintendo. That's why the PlayStation exists. I watched G4. I looked at the whole history thing. And what they did back in the day, that was some good shit. But now, when I look at Sony, they're lagging behind, even by today's standards. Because look at their price point is $400. If it doesn't play CDs, that's another feature that they don't play, is CDs. Okay, who gets rid of their CD drive? Okay, where's my CDs? Hold on. See, I even have this. And it's not able to play, the PS4 is not able to play CDs. Who in their right mind who in their right mind puts a console together that does not play CDs? Spotify. Okay, I know we have Spotify, iTunes, and all that stuff. But still, I don't understand. That's not logical. If you're able to put a CD in your PS4, like a Blu-ray, you should be able to put this in with no problem, but it's not able to read the disc. I get it, there's no red laser, which, that's kind of stupid then. Then why doesn't it at least play this? I mean, that fathoms me. If I wanted to make a system like the PS4 that practically does nothing but stream and play Blu-ray games, that doesn't play PS3 games, like Metal Gear Rising, which I played it 8 times, and yes, I played that 8 times. See, if I wanted to make a system like that, I would have averaged the actual cost of a $400 machine down to $200. Down to $200. I would purposely say to myself, I'm looking back on it, if I was a game owner of Sony's caliber or something like that, I'll go to myself, do we really need to charge people $400 when it practically does nothing? Like, I know you could download games, your old PS2 games, and yet I don't see the thrill in downloading all my old PS2 games again on a digital library. I don't understand that. If I wanted to download stuff, I might as well get a computer. I mean, and break my PS3 part and play it like that. I mean, and if I knew a tech guy that was able to break the materials down on my PS3 and put it into a computer, I would actually do that, and whatever. Or girl, whoever could actually do that stuff, I would actually let them do that if they were able to do that kind of stuff. But $400 for this system does not compute with my brain. And I get why Nintendo is beating out Sony hands down, in my opinion. Because if you think about it, Nintendo is actually cheaper, it's family friendly, and honestly, it's got Pokemon. And if Pokemon is not on the N64 or whatever system I'm talking about now, then Nintendo would be done. If they didn't have more, these are the 3 franchises that Nintendo actually has that Sony's probably lost to Nintendo also. They have there's 3 competitors for Nintendo. There's 3 champions for Nintendo, in my honest opinion. Before I continue talking bag on Sony some more. Zelda. We got Mario. We got what else? And we got Pokemon. And Super Smash Brothers. But now, what does Sony have? They don't even have Kingdom Hearts anymore, and who knows when Kingdom Hearts 3 is ever gonna exist. Everybody says it's gonna come out. When the PS5 comes out? The only reason why people bought a PS4 is because of Kingdom Hearts 3. If any people are buying a PS4, the only reason why I bought a PS4 is because I didn't want my PS3 to break. Because I've had the PS3 for 9 years. 9 years. That's like and it's not broken yet. And because every time I played Destiny, my PS3 would crash. So that's why I bought a PS4. But was that a good enough reason to buy a PS4 in my honest opinion? No, because it doesn't have backwards compatibility. It practically doesn't play CDs. I mean, if I wanted to listen to music, download it to anything, I would do it off my iPhone. And honestly, the USB cable also sucks. When I first bought my PS4, I'm like looking at this 1-inch cable. And then I went to GameStop to buy a 6-inch cable. 6-inch micro USB cable. And you know what it does? Because the controller is configured wrong, it pops out all the time. Every time when I'm not looking, because the micro USB doesn't have anything to hold it in place, it falls out because there's nothing supporting it in the back. Well, for the PS3, it had that support. It was shaped correctly. And I don't even understand why the PS4 isn't backwards compatible with the USB ports. I mean, the micro USB cables were built better and all that other stuff. And I don't care what you guys might think of me. That's just my honest factual opinion. And honestly, the only reason why I have a PS4 is to stream. That's the only thing I use it for. That's it. My gameplay. That's all I do. Stream. That's it. I can't even listen to music because there's no red laser reader. I mean, if you think about it, and looking back on it, I would rather spend $1,000 to get my PS3 fixed, use the camera that they have on there, rather than the PS4. Because the PS4 doesn't do a whole lot of stuff like it claims. I mean, the other YouTubers that do YouTube videos on the PS4, they probably get paid to do all that stuff. They probably say all this good shit about Sony. Well, I'm showing you the negative side of Sony's MO. And even if they paid me, $1 million to talk good about Sony, I would not even talk good about Sony even if they paid me that much. Because why would I have to lie about how great or how not great Sony is? I mean, if that was the case, then you gotta prove it to me, Sony. I mean, there's no backwards compatibility, at least for the PS3 games. There's the micro USB cable that you guys came up with for this PS4 controller sucks. There's no way to play regular CDs because there's no laser reader that reads that stuff. And that's practically it. I mean, what more do I need to say? I mean, and plus, you're paying $60 for the PlayStation Store, and yet, for the membership, $60? Come on. The average consumer doesn't pay only for games for $60, but on average, I'd rather pay Sony $40 for a 8-year membership. I mean, come on. Yeah, you guys probably mad at me for dissing out Sony like that, but I don't care. I'll say what I want, when I want, and however I want. Yeah. But for me, personally, that mistake was... There's a lot of mistakes that Sony could have actually fixed before launch date and all that stuff, but they didn't. And you're paying $400 for a system, and also, why? That also reminds me, if you wanted people to download all your games, also... Yeah. I agree, man. It needs a 2,002 terabyte hard drive. I mean, that's a given, because games downloading like that at like 40 gigs, come on, with 500 memory, that's nothing. That's minuscule. That's like a $5 bill paying for a $20 thing. But no, Sony didn't think ahead. If I was part of Sony's team, I would be like, 40 gigs for this? Wait, where's the game? For Destiny, what, like, it's 10 gigs to play the game. I mean, or at least 20 gigs based on how many downloads you actually have to do over the course of, what, 6 years? Wow, damn. And yet, the Destiny bundle that I got only gave me 500 gigs. If I knew that ahead of time, which I know now, a couple years back, before I bought this thing, I would have actually upgraded to a 2 terabyte to begin with. And also, why is the frame rate for the cabinet hard drive space only 250 when it should be up to whatever you wish for the length of the hard drive? It should be at least 3.5 inches to fit in that cabinet, or the 2.5, whichever one you prefer. That's the one you will actually use. But I'm not working for Sony. I'm not smart enough to work for Sony. I'm just a guy who knows a lot of Sony, and yet they got people at the PlayStation company that make millions of dollars, and yet they don't do nothing. They just sit on their butts and do nothing. Especially on their tech support. And their tech support should actually do better also. That's another thing. When you're calling tech support, most of the time you can't even get help. What's the point of having a system that you can't get help for, usually? Like 15 minutes on hold, 10 minutes. I mean, you might as well be waiting on in the line at the doctor's office if that was the case. I mean, that's why I don't like calling the Sony support thing, because they don't help you that well. And yet, most people aren't informed enough to do anything. They're like, did you try this? Yes, I did. Did you try this? Yes, I did. Well, we're gonna have to wipe your system clean if you tried all that stuff that we're telling you. I mean, and the only reason why we're paying $60 for the PlayStation Store for PlayStation Plus is to actually have tech support help us. That's what we're paying $60 for. I mean That's bogus. $60 to have the tech support help you? Come on. Really? That's lame. Well, for me, personally, I would rather go to back to my PS3, but I don't have enough room in my apartment, or my TV stand isn't wide enough to actually put both games in there. So I'm kind of stuck. So in retrospect, I think I covered every possible scenario that I have a problem with the PS3 or PS4 for that matter. Yeah, in that case, because my main concern for this system is its lifespan is minuscule because there's no backwards compatibility. Everybody says, well, we're the cheapest system out there, but if you think about it, the only reason why they had a cheaper price point at the time was to make up for the losses that that Sony claims that they made when they made the PS3 when it was backwards compatible. But I disagree. If you're buying 70 games within the past, for me it was 6 years, 70, it's not a mistake to make a system backwards compatible. But I don't work for Sony. I'm not even the president of Sony, so if I was, somebody would probably try to think I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. I'm not stupid. I'm thinking about the past history that what Sony's done over the years. I mean, I get it for the PS2, it's not backwards compatible because there's no laser. But what about the other stuff? PS3 has nothing but Blu-ray laser, Blu-ray. It's called Blu-ray for a reason. I mean, why couldn't Sony actually have backwards compatible for at least the PS3? I mean, because you're actually using the same format, but all it pertains to is a little tiny chip that costs, $80? I mean, that's what you spend on a hard drive. I mean, for a bigger hard drive for this thing. If that was the case, then why didn't you spend money on the chip rather than paying $400 on just this piece of machinery that practically does nothing but stream? I mean, I like streaming too, but I like playing games while I stream. But nothing. I mostly returned most of my PS4 games. And honestly, I never returned anything on my PS3 games. There's a time where I only traded in. I could count on my fingers how many games I traded in when I have my PS3 games. Only 5. Resistance. Let's see. There was a couple others, but I could count 5. Remember Me. What else? Ever Dead. And there was one other, but I can't think of it right now. But I practically never traded in games ever on my PS3. But on my PS4, I traded in 4 games already after I bought them, beat them, and returned them. See, that just goes to show you that after 3 years of waiting for more games to come out, there's still nothing for me to play. I played them, beat them, and usually, depending on how good the game was, I'll keep them. But if it was a terrible game, I'll return it right away because it's Sony. It's the PS4, so I don't really care if I kept it or not. Because it's not worth it, because it's not connected to my sequels or of anything. And honestly, if there was no backwards compatibility for the PS3 on the PS4, why is there no Deus Ex game for the original? Not for the computer one. I'm talking about the PS3 version of the original game for the PS3. If that was not backwards compatible with the PS4, I mean, why isn't there anything coming down the pipe for the first game? The first game and the second game are awesome. I have it right here. And this is the only reason why I bought a PS4. If this wasn't coming out, I would not even bother buying a PS4. But I did. But who knows? Maybe if I had enough money, I would buy out Sony and go, you guys gotta fix this. Because Microsoft clearly fixed their issues with backwards compatibility. I mean, Nintendo is making up for what their revenues have lost. Because everybody likes Nintendo. I don't care who you are. Everybody. I'm even thinking about jumping ship from my PS4 to Microsoft, because why wouldn't I? Because their systems actually have a terabyte hard drive to begin with for their 1S, and their second version is a 2 terabyte hard drive. So what Microsoft is doing right, Sony is doing wrong, first off. And that's where I sit with that. But that's just how I feel about Sony's products right now. I'm really not too keen on Sony's MO on their greatness awaits mumbo jumbo. I'm not too keen on most things that Sony does, because Sony used to be great. That's the problem. Sony used to be great. And when they use taglines like greatness awaits, what is that? Why? Why are you using taglines like that? Because that just proves that you lost something to people that are smart enough to realize that. You've already lost. You gave up as a company. That's why you say greatness awaits all the time in your commercials, your infomercials. And honestly, that's where I sit with it. Because Sony as a company was already great. That's the problem. When I was watching the infomercial on G4, the little tagline on the little video on Sony's history with Nintendo, and that's why the PlayStation was born. But Nintendo's doing much better than Sony is for at least probably another 6 years. And as long as there's Pokemon, they will always make money. But Sony, they're selling their TVs for $5,000 for a 4K TV at least. And yet, where do you think the money loss will come from next? It's not the system's fault. It's, as a company whole, they probably they're probably thinking to themselves, we're doing fine. You're not fine when your best customer is not even buying games practically for his system. In my instance. But that's just how I look at it. Well, I guess I'm done ranting about my problems with Sony right now. Who knows? Maybe I'll talk about something else too tomorrow. But since I gotta take care of some stuff, I'll check you guys later. And also, I forgot one thing. Why is there only 2 USB ports? And why do I have to buy it from a third party to, like Amazon, to actually upgrade my ports on the PlayStation? Which is fine, but yet I would have really liked 4 ports on my PS4. Just like the PS3 when it was first made. But at least it only cost $10. No. But so, which isn't bad, but Wait, hold on.
Text to speech unavailable here. Text to speech unavailable here.